Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about evaluating expressions, and we're going to primarily be using our order of operations. Now, I have our order of operations written right over here on the board, but if you are not too familiar with that, or not too familiar with some of the terms I'm using here, such as groups instead of parentheses, check out the order of operations video that I also have uploaded on my channel. I go over that entirely there, and then you can come back here. But we have two problems we're going to try out. I'm going to go ahead and step over to this side so you can see those. Now, if you want to pause the video, try to solve these yourself. This is a great opportunity to. And then you can come back and we'll finish up seeing what the correct answers are, how to do it, and I'll be going through both of these. Okay, so let's start with number one here. Now, we have a lot of different things happening. And one thing I kind of like to do whenever I'm first starting this, or if you're just getting used to the idea of orders of operations and using that to evaluate expressions, is you might want to identify all the different things happening in the expression. For example, we have division happening here. We have an addition sign here, and we have a subtraction sign here. But is that the only things going on? Not quite. We have this set of parentheses. Well, that set of parentheses is a group, right? Parentheses, a set of brackets, or a set of absolute value bars is all going to be considered a group when evaluating expressions. And then we have one other operation that's happening that we don't really see the sign for, the symbol for, but we know is there, and that's happening right here between that 2 and the parentheses. That is multiplication, right? Because anytime you have a number sitting right next to another number, but one of them is in parentheses, or both, then those are multiplying. So we have a pretty wide variety of our order of operations happening here. The only one we're missing is our exponents and radicals set. So if identifying it helps you out, by all means, something to try out when you're starting these. And we see that we want to start with our groups and then we want to kind of work our way down, right? But I'm going to erase this and we're just going to get into actually solving the problem. So I start my order of operations with G for groups. That's my parentheses, as we said. So I'm going to solve everything that's in here. Now there's only one operation in my parentheses right now, and that's addition. So I'm going to solve that. If there were multiple operations, if there was 3, 4, maybe even 5 numbers inside that parentheses, then I would follow my order of operations for inside that set. But here we're just adding. So that's going to be 7. So 6 divided by 2 times 7 minus 7. And anytime I solve one part or I go down a step on order of operations, I like to rewrite the problem showing what has changed or what I've done almost. You know, this group turned into a 7. Now, we already figured out we don't have any exponents or radicals in here, so we don't got to worry about that step. We'll go down next to multiplication and division. Now let's remember, there's a reason I like to write it like this with them next to each other, because it's not one then the other. They are happening at the same time. They're in the same step. We're moving from left to right through the equation. So in this instance, when we start left to right looking for multiplication or division, we first run into that division sign. So we start with 6 divided by 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 is going to turn into 3. So I'm going to rewrite my equation again now that I've done that operation. And I'm still on multiplication or division. I'm still looking to see, do we have any more of that? Well, remember what we said about numbers next to each other when some are in parentheses. Those are multiplying. So the very first thing that happens here that we see is 3 times 7. So let's go ahead and solve that. 3 times 7 is 21. And then we're down to the last step of our equation. We finished up multiplication and division. We can go to addition and subtraction. Obviously, we just have one subtraction part left here. 21 minus 7 is going to give us 14. and we have finished evaluating that expression. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at number 2. We're not going to do the identifying every different thing that's happening on this one. We're just kind of going to start solving, but I do want to point out there is one thing different here. What do we have in this expression that wasn't in the previous one? Yeah, we have that 4 squared. We have that exponent there, right? So we're going to be using that second step in our order of operations in this problem. So let's begin. Let's look for groups. So as I scan through this problem, I notice we have some parentheses. So I'm going to solve that first. What's in those parentheses is 24 divided by 3. Well, 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8. So I'm going to rewrite this. Now that I solved that group, 24 divided by 3 is 8, so that's going to go in its place because I was able to evaluate or simplify that portion of the problem. And then I'm going to say, okay, do I have any more groups left? This is something that can trip people up occasionally. I didn't mention it in the first problem, but whenever you're plugging in that 8, you still want to keep it in parentheses. But a lot of time I've seen students say, well, isn't that still a group? We're looking for parentheses, right? Because that's what we've been kind of trained to look for, especially with the PEMDAS method, is we're looking for parentheses. And we have those. So shouldn't we do something with that 8? Not exactly. It's true, there are parentheses there. But those parentheses are to separate it from the 6. And we have to keep in mind that there's nothing happening within those parentheses. Whenever we're looking at groups, we're looking to simplify or evaluate an expression inside that set of parentheses or the set of brackets or absolute value bars. Whatever it may be, we're looking to simplify that group. Whenever it's just a single number, that's already simplified. We don't have anything more to do with that. All right, so now we get to take a look at this second step, exponents and radicals. Well, we don't have any radicals here, but as we look left to right, we do see an exponent, 4 squared. Well, we know an exponent means that you're going to multiply this number by itself however many times are listed up here. 4 squared means 4 times 4. So we're going to get 16 there. So 7 minus 16 plus 6 times 8. All right, do we have any exponents left? We don't. So we're able to move on to the next step, multiplication and division. Again, looking left to right to see which one pops up first. 7 minus 16, so nothing there, that's not multiplication or division. 16 plus 6, again, we don't got to worry about that. But then 6 times 8, times, right? That's multiplication. So 6 times 8, we're going to need to evaluate. Well, 6 times 8 is going to be 48. So I'm going to rewrite this problem ending with plus 48 now. All right, let's take our final step of order of operations, addition and subtraction. Yet again, as I've said several times, we want to go left to right. So it's not addition then subtraction, it is whichever one pops up first as we're scanning the equation just like you would read the page of a book. So 7 minus 16, that's going to happen first. 7 minus 16 is going to be negative 9. And we have negative 9 plus 48. This simplifies down, and then we can take our next step. We have our addition here. Negative 9 plus 48 is going to get us positive 39. And it's as simple as that. We worked down our order of operations, and we were able to successfully evaluate both problems. If you have any questions about this process, feel free to drop a comment below. I'll do my best to answer that. We are going to have a second video. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to get posted, but be on the lookout for that. It will go over some more challenging evaluating expressions problems. We'll get some radicals involved. We may get absolute values or brackets involved, some more complex work with groupings. So if you're looking for evaluating expressions but something a little more challenging than these, check out that second video. All right, thanks for watching, guys.